I am the Senior Vice President and Chief Administrative Officer at John Deere, or Deere and Company. That means I have responsibility for human resources, labor relations, government affairs, communications, security, the foundation, and the John Deere brand globally. So it's a pretty big job, but it's one that I really enjoy. I'm originally from Detroit, and I think it's important to kind of start out at the beginning. I'm really from Detroit, grew up in regular working class household, first generation college student. Went to University of Michigan Dearborn, majored in political science, and worked for Congress, worked for a university, and then after having been out of college for a while, decided to enlist in the Army. Married, 2 kids, so we enlisted, got an opportunity to go to officer candidate school, became an artillery officer, then got an opportunity to become a JAG officer. Judge advocate in the Army sent me to law school, which was great. And then 12 years later, I'm getting out of the Army and decide to go work at John Deere. I was stationed in Rock Island, Illinois. And the opportunities were go work at General Motors or go work at John Deere, go back home at General Motors or go to John Deere. And I decided to go to John Deere, which was a great choice. This was, 2000, early 2001. And started as a lawyer. Had the opportunity to work in the law department and then work in business development for our consumer equipment division, became the corporate secretary, associate general counsel, doing all the finance work for the company. Left that and went to marketing and then ran a manufacturing facility and ran one of our businesses, and then got the opportunity to go run HR. And that was, after having been at Deere for quite a while. And so it was, my first HR job was running HR as the vice president of HR. And it was a little overwhelming. But the initial thought was, when I got the call from the CEO to, want you to run HR, I was like, run HR? And it's like, well, I've never worked in HR. But hey, if he thinks, the reality is our CEO used to have responsibility for HR. So I thought, it's not a bad deal. So I went to work in HR, and it was a wonderful experience. And having been a client, if you will, customer of HR, I knew what I liked about HR, and I knew what I didn't like about HR. And so I wanted to bring a more business focus to HR, make sure HR realized as a function that we're part of the business. We don't serve the business. We are the business as much as sales or marketing or accounting or engineering or supply management is a part of the business. We're part of the business, and we work together with that business to do that. And so it was a great experience. But a couple of years into, about 18 months into the experience, I had to sit down with the CEO, and he said, are you ready to get back into a business role? You want to go back, and we'll get you back in a business role, good development assignment for you. Having had worked in a big global corporate responsibility, and I said, there are a lot of people that could do that, including me, and do a good job at it. But I think my best and highest use is to stay here in HR. And people often ask me, why did I make that decision? Because I'd also gone and gotten an MBA from Duke along the way, and so I was having a good experience in the business, was very successful there. But I think for me, it was the level of impact you can have in HR. If you really tackle it, you can have a tremendous impact. You decide where we decide to recruit. You decide what the standards are around who we look at and who we don't. You decide, you get an opportunity to look at the policies we have as a company and see if they actually make sense. A lot of policies were put in place for a particular thing at some point in time that don't really make sense anymore. And so, having not owned that policy in the past, it was easier for me to come in and disrupt some things that needed to be disrupted in order for us to continue to grow and do what we needed to do and lead in the areas of the business where we needed to lead. And I think that was important as we continue to become a more and more global company. We do business in almost 140 different countries. And so being able to do that and bring that expertise with a business view and a customer first sort of approach to this, not sort of responding and being an order taker, but being HR as a really strategic function that really thinks about where we are and what do we need to have in terms of human capital to get where we want to go. And in terms of, you know, what those people look like, what their experiences are, where they sit, the locations associated with that, the educational background, the continuous education people have. You know, so I think as an HR professional, the key is being able to really understand your business and embrace it and really go forward in that. So that's my introduction.